Nowadays, people start blaming themselves for how they live because they feel distracted, passive, and unable to resist simple impulses even when they clearly understand what is happening. They assume the problem is a lack of willpower, discipline, or character because that explanation feels personal and familiar. What usually goes unnoticed is the role of the environment itself. Modern life is not neutral because it is actively designed to shape behavior. We live inside an attention economy where companies invest billions into understanding how the human brain reacts, not in theory, but in real time. Every interaction is measured, tested, and optimized to keep you engaged for longer than you intended. This is not accidental. Former engineers from companies like Google and Facebook have openly explained that many popular features were created with one clear goal, which was to maximize user engagement by exploiting biological reward systems. Infinite scrolling, notifications, and algorithmic feeds were not designed to inform you efficiently. They were designed to remove stopping points. Behavioral research explains why this works. The brain responds most strongly not to predictable rewards, but to uncertain ones. This principle, known as intermittent reinforcement, was described decades ago in experiments with animals, where unpredictable rewards produce stronger and more persistent behavior than guaranteed outcomes. The digital environment applies the same mechanism. Each swipe might bring something interesting, or it might not, and that uncertainty triggers stronger anticipation than certainty ever could. Over time, this conditions the brain to keep checking, not because the content is meaningful, but because the reward schedule is unpredictable. The inventor of infinite scrolling later admitted that its purpose was to eliminate natural pauses. Older digital environments had pages and clear endpoints, which gave the brain a brief moment to reassess whether it wanted to continue. Modern interfaces remove that moment entirely, preventing conscious interruption before the next stimulus appears. At the same time, the environment removes friction from everyday life. Food arrives in one click. Videos play automatically. Recommendations appear without being requested. Decisions are made by default, not by choice. Psychological research shows that the brain consistently prefers the path of least effort, because conserving energy has always been a survival advantage. When resistance disappears, effort becomes unnecessary, and when effort becomes unnecessary, the systems responsible for self-regulation are used less often. The prefrontal cortex, which plays a central role in impulse control and long-term planning, relies on active engagement to remain effective. When the environment constantly decides for you, this system is no longer required to intervene. Over time, self-regulation weakens, not because the person changed, but because the environment no longer demands it. This creates a subtle shift in agency. Instead of choosing, people begin consuming. Instead of deciding, they respond. Instead of acting, they drift. From the inside, this feels like laziness or loss of control. From the outside, it is the predictable result of a frictionless system. There is also an economic reason behind this design. In the attention economy, your focus is the product. Algorithms track how long you look, how quickly you scroll, and which emotional states keep you engaged. These systems do not guess. They test thousands of variations to find the exact stimuli that your specific biology responds to most strongly. Research has already shown that large platforms can influence emotional states by changing what people see in their feeds. This demonstrates that the environment is not a passive background. It actively shapes mood, attention, and behavior. Social validation plays a central role in this process. Likes, comments, and notifications create a feedback loop that taps into a very old biological mechanism. For early humans, social approval was directly linked to survival, because exclusion from the group meant danger. Digital systems translate that fear into numbers and alerts, training people to check their devices repeatedly, even when nothing important is happening. Former executives have admitted that this was intentional. Small doses of social reward were designed to keep people producing content and returning for validation, not because it improves their lives, but because it keeps the system running. Seen from this perspective, behavior that looks like weakness begins to look mechanical. People are not failing to resist temptation. They are responding exactly as their nervous systems were trained to respond inside a carefully engineered environment. When the environment designs the choices, personal willpower becomes a secondary factor. And the uncomfortable observation is this: if your daily life feels automatic, distracted, and passive, it may not be because you lost control, but because control was slowly redesigned out of the system you live in. How do you think? how much of your behavior is still being chosen by you, and how much of it is being quietly decided by the architecture around you? Share your thoughts in the comments.